Right, on this last day of the month of October 2017, I again say welcome. It's still the Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM, the voice of the people, broadcasting from Radio House at Shiro in Abeokuta. Dele Ayodo is my name.
And I am Chienye saying good morning and welcome to Citizens Forum on the Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM.
All right, yes, Citizens Forum this morning again trying to discuss issues around this our beloved country called Nigeria. Well, in search of solutions to our problems, some people will say leadership, some will say corruption, some will say the followers themselves are the problem, some will say the constitution, some will say the structure. Therefore, that there's need to restructure whatever position you hold this morning. Well, you may all be correct, but all of this also has to be discussed and solved, and that's why we are picking one area this morning: political restructuring in the country. As we speak, INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, has told us that there are over 200 applications from different political groups waiting to become political parties. Today, there are about 53 registered, that's legal groups known as political parties, whatever name you want to call it. Well, Nigeria is a big country, there's no doubt about it. Even though some people say there are other bigger democracies, don't mind those words. This is our own, that is our style. So, you can't say this is permitted. I remember not until 2003 or thereabouts when the late legal icon Gani Fawemi challenged the idea of INEC having to deregister some political parties. In 1999, after the elections, what they do is any political party that does not capture or have a candidate voted for in the national elections or general elections will be deregistered. Gadifayemi, yes, rightly too, challenges in court, won that case in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said everybody, no political party or no political association should be deregistered. You are free to register as a political party. Well, there are conditions for meeting that status. Some of them people are also criticized. We're not looking at all those ones. But recently, one of the best legislators, by my rating, really, that we have, former Senate President Ken Nnamani, was charged with that responsibility of coming out with a restructuring formula for political parties in Nigeria, or politics in Nigeria. And one of the recommendations made by the Ken Nnamani-led committee is that Nigeria needs not more than two political parties. In other words, we should operate a two political party state structure. That's the point in which we are, and that's what we want to look at this morning.
And two-party system in Nigeria, are we ripe for this actually, Dele? And then if you remember, we practiced this in the 1990s where we had just two political parties. Then we had the SDP and then we had the NRC. And talk about the two-party system. We find out that some countries like the United States of America, we have Japan, we have Jamaica, we have Honduras, and then the United Kingdom and Great Britain who practice the two-party system. And you begin to wonder, is Nigeria developed enough to practice the two-party system in Nigeria? That's indeed what we will be looking at on Citizens Forum this morning on the Daybreak Show. And we have a capable hand to take us through this. We have Dr. Nkom.
Okay, Dr. Ebenezer Nkom, you are welcome to the Daybreak Show.
Thank you very much, Dele. Thank you very much, Chienye. I never knew you look like this. Your voice is different from your.
All right, Dr. Nkom, two-party system for Nigeria. We tried it in 1990, NRC, National Republican Convention, as the SDP, Social Democratic Party. Some people will say with that, we are able to come out with candidates with merits and election devoid of rancor. Is this argument valid in 2017 or 2019?
Thank you very much, Dele, I personally, I don't believe in a two-party system, and I don't think it should be foisted on us. And if I make a general statement, the issue is not the number of parties we have. The issue is how do we manage these political parties? Do we obey the laws? Do we allow the rule of law to come into play? For example, we had a two-party system, and you know the election, the best election ever conducted in this country, we never saw the light of the day. So can you really, what is it, the two-party system or the people operating it? It's the people operating it, but we have evolved over the years. I don't think I should be compartmentalized into either party A or B. I should have alternatives, and I should have a party which looks after an interest I have decided to pursue. And another thing which you mentioned, Dele, is that the late Gani Fahmy had gone to Supreme Court, and the pronouncement was that nobody, nobody should compartmentalize us into two political parties. We should have as many political parties as possible, provided they can jump the hurdle of registration. That is the main thing. If you have 100 political parties, so be it. If you are going to have one because one has can jump the hurdle, so be it. The idea of putting into two political parties, I don't think it will work in this country. We are beyond that. Even in the so-called developed democracy like in UK or US, let me talk of the US, you have the two big political parties, but there are over 50 something other so-called minor parties, and people still vote for them. They vote for them because they also pursue maybe a regional or a sectional agenda. That is what political party is all about. It's not that it must have that national outlook in quotes. You must vie for presidency and all that. If I just want a party, a political party, that will give me electricity in Ashero. That is what I want. You can have your own exporting of yam in Sokoto. That is your own. So we should look at it that way. Democracy liberalization, it liberates your intellect. We should not compartmentalize us. We should only make laws, which if you want to become a political party, this and this and this is what you should do. I think that is the thing.
Okay, if you say democracy liberalizes your intellect,
Yes.
and some people have said this is a peculiar structure, a peculiar system, and we must consider everything in that manner. There are so many, a large number of Nigerians are still politically illiterate. Even the level of educational illiteracy, according to Dele, is still high in terms of everything. Voter education, we all know the way it goes. And the definition of politics and politicking in Nigeria is something of a wild one. If you match all this together, would you not say we are wrong if you just want to copy and say the book definition of democracy is what we will operate with?
Well, let me say it this way: that if we want to have two political parties in Nigeria, this is the tendency now. As I'm talking to you, I'm talking of today. During Abiola's era, you could do that and go scot-free. Now, is that going to be a Christian party or a Muslim party? It's going to be for the Northerners or for the Southerners. We are going to find a way of fitting ourselves into those boxes. And when you start doing that, then the whole essence is lost. Number two, we have never been democratic since our primitive days, if I might use the word. Democracy is alien to us. It's alien. Electoral democracy is alien to us. I wonder how many of us were elected before or whatever. Those are institutions, sacred institutions. They were not democratic institutions. So everything about democracy, at least the Western form, is necessarily alien to us. So we either have to do it as the people who have been doing it, the owners of it, do it, or we descend into what we want to call ourselves. Because there is nothing like native or private or Nigerian democracy and all that. Democracy has its own definitions. And if you don't follow it, it becomes a different thing entirely. That is why in China, you don't call it democracy. There is a one-party system. But they are still working. Things are still working well. They are still flourishing. If we want to do democracy, then we must do it as the people brought it, not any variants of it and start calling homegrown, foreign grown, and all that. So Dele, I don't, as we are now, the rate we are, the way we stand now, is the multi-party system is perhaps the best.
Let's look at. Sorry, Chienye, I will permit you, please. Don't let me do this as a follow. Let's look at our voting pattern in this country.
Yes.
But I want to merge it with democracy, liberalization, and education that we've talked about in developed countries. We've had several occasions where elections, governorship, senatorial, and others has to be voided by the court because the number of voided votes that were not properly casted, were higher than the number of those that were properly casted. And the reason for having that number of votes is people do not understand how to vote or did not vote properly. The ink spilling to the other side, or voting for two across the two lines, not being able to identify with 53%. If you now have more, like you said, unlimited number of political parties, is this not creating more problems for us than solving it?
Dele, what you have said is very correct, but I would have wanted us to go below that a bit. Out of these voided votes, how many were from illiterates? How many did you have from educated people? You see, until we get to such a level, then we start talking of voters' education. Because most of those things, we will be shocked that the people who are doing creating all those voided votes are the educated ones, the university lecturers, university students, and all that. Not the poor market woman in the street who says, go and thumbprint umbrella, she goes to umbrella. Go and thumbprint broom, she goes to broom. You'll be shocked. Until we get to that level, then we may not be able to make a valid statement of that. Voters' education. And also, it's the duty of political parties to educate their voters or their members that when you want to vote, make sure that it doesn't cross the line. And that is what political politicking is all about. When you want to educate your people to go and do the right thing. If you leave that one and depend on toggery, godfatherism, this is exactly what you did. It has yes.
Dr. Nkom, we
Yeah.
have practiced the multi-party system for so many years.
Yes.
Has it paid off so far?
Yes, it has. I will tell you, we have moved a notch. Political party or
As it is now, we have only two parties in question that is functioning, and all others are not functional. It's just like as if they don't even exist. So has it paid off?
yeah, let me take it from that way. You talk of the PDP, APC, ABGA, Labour. Those people have representatives in National Assembly. They have. The other political parties have not gotten anything. The way I look at it is that those shouldn't have been registered. Have been issued. Swine party, cock party, pig party, and all that. Some of those parties, if you look at the origin, they are husband and wife, husband, in-laws, and all that. They had no national representation. They had nothing. Even in states, nobody heard of them until when you have election and they say, "Oh, we are going to win." Someone clearly, where did this one come from? So it is INEC, which had not done a good job in screening some of these people, making sure they have offices and what have you, and then having not only offices but staff in, as they say, in the states. So it's not the failure of that; it's the failure of the people who are supposed to do the oversight function, which they didn't do well. There's some political parties at times when you hear their names, start wondering, where is this one from? Do you expect that one to win any election? So it's not. I think we have done so far. After some time, we are going to gravitate towards what we call the traditional parties. In America, nobody decreed that you have Republicans and Democrats. But after years of gestation, after years of metamorphosis, people have now stabilized into two major parties. A democracy is, how old is a democracy? Yeah, democracy is not up to 2 weeks, as far as I'm concerned, compared to India, compared to the United States of America, compared to UK, and what have you. We are not. We are just evolving. And please let us evolve. After some time, maybe we have only APC, PDP, and ABGA for some regions, and swine party for some regions, or fish party, or cow party, and all that. But we have to evolve. Democracy, electoral party system is not a thing you foist on people. It's not. If you foist on people, then we are going to have what they are having. Let us evolve. It's not a quick fix thing.
Okay, but part of evolving, if you talk about evolving, part of evolving, don't you think considering the nation's economy, we need to cut down on the number of political parties that we have in Nigeria?
No, sir. No, man. No, 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 no. This is where we go wrong. For example, forming a political party is not a tea party. It's for, I'm sorry to use the word, people who can afford it. It's not like free education everybody must have. No, there's nothing free about political parties. Those who can afford political parties should form political parties. This idea of INEC giving subvention to political parties is where we are bastardizing it. Don't give much to anybody. If you cannot, if it's only one party we have, so be it. When we start giving money, when we start giving subvention to some of these non-existent in quote strings groupings, then we create problems. We are distorting the system. You don't need to have too much money to, for example, to be in a party. If they have ideologies which appeals to you, you can gravitate there. But if you don't, fine. But you should not. It's not issue of money per se. But of course, like every in Nigeria, you hear money bags have hijacked the parties. And the reason why they hijack the parties is because other people, the non-money bags, are keeping quiet. They don't want to excite. They say, a filial, leave demo, and no, that is not. I don't look at it that way, and I don't think money should be a determinant.
Now, if you say democracy is evolving, I heard this a lot. Democracy is nascent, is evolving. America is this, but the same story is that the truth is that such countries, America and the rest, have also been passed through this stage before.
Yes.
They've had close to 50, 100 years of political crisis and national crisis. Those who continue to say we are evolving, are we saying we should also wait for 100 years, 50 years before we get to that state in which those countries are today? Or we should find a way of fast-tracking this and developing our own model for it?
Unfortunately, Dele, you might as well ask me about in Nigeria we have about 140, 170, you say 200 million, which I agree. I think it's nearer 200.
I believe we are more than the number, the official number.
Yes. When a baby is born, a baby must learn how to sit, to crawl, to stand up, to walk. Whether you have 30 billion babies or not, you must have to go through that evolutionary process. So that is why political parties are like that. It's a pity you cannot jumpstart it or you can't fast track it. Not like buying Tokumbo engine in a car which engine has now and then put it inside going to Sokoto. Unfortunately, in the metamorphosis, you cannot. You have to pass through it. Albeit it may be shorter, it may be faster, depending on how intelligent you are. But you can't, because it's an evolutionary thing. It's a thing you have to get used to and get acquainted to, form a tradition before. Yeah, that's why you see some people are Democrats, families are Democrats, grandfather, father, son, all of them are Democrats. Some are Republicans. It's not; those are not the type of thing you see in just people just doing what they like. It's an evolutionary process. You have to evolve. That is what I'm saying. Let our democracy mature. Unfortunately, in politics, it's not like any other thing. Just like as I told you in childbirth and children, you have to pass through this stage. You can't jumpstart it. You can't run across. You can't miss one step. No way. A baby cannot just, if you see a baby sitting down after the baby is born, they start walking, then you know something is wrong. It's either Alawada or Nollywood. Those are the type you see in Nollywood. In real life, you don't see such thing. That is it. We have to pass through these stages in a democratic maturity.
Okay, is there any relationship between the multi-party system that we practice in Nigeria and political development?
Well, the political development is a different kettle of fish entirely, and multi-party democracy is very entirely. The national development depends on your intellect and the type of people who are allowed to exercise this political power, and it depends on who are there. For example, look at what is happening in Kenya. Kenya is a disgrace to the so-called, we have been moving, we have been saying, Africa is coming out of the black continent. We are now having, look at what is happening in Kenya. We take 2 steps front and 3 steps or 10 steps backward. The Ghanaian and the Kenya experience daily is a disgrace. I feel too ashamed to be an African and because what is happening in Kenya. Why can't you? It's give and take. Look at what is happening. Odinga knows that he cannot win that election. Whether you call it bandwagon effect, whether you call it what do you call it, incumbency factor and all that, must you destroy the country because of that? Even if you become the president, what is Odinga going to do to Kenya, which is going to be anything? But in other mature democracies, you give and take. You lose today, tomorrow you win. But here we just want to, because of our maybe our age, because of our we want this our time. Why? In democracy, in political parties, give and take. You must give. George Bush won the election in Florida in a very, how will I put it, in a circumstance which is was less than clear. But he never, Al Gore never went to war. Even when they told Al Gore to come back and contest, said, no, the issue is beyond me. He's American president. He's not Al Gore and all that. I'm sure if he was in Nigeria or in Africa, they would say, go back again, go and win, claim your mandate. It's give and take. There are those things there.
Dr. Nkom, part of the problems in Kenya that you have mentioned is the difference in ethnicity and language, which we also have here in Nigeria. From our first republic, from 1960 downward, when we have this multi-party system, the truth is that many of those parties are populated mostly by people from the region of the founder, as a founder or leader. The only exception was the Third Republic in 1990s, and that was because there were just two political parties. So you don't have a choice. And because we cannot, for now, eliminate internal bickering, agitations, and quarrels after primaries or election in political parties, the multi-party system have so far solved that, you want to say. Because as soon as you lose primaries in PDP, you go to another political party to find solace. But the truth is, this kept expanding the bickerings, the problems, just like we have in the Kenya. So if you have just two, where, like you said, you resign to your fate, you don't have anywhere to go. You will be forced to comply with the so-called party discipline and party machinery. So it is not an advantage the two-party system has over this multi-party system in a country like us, that we cannot eliminate the religion factor, the language factor, the ethnicity factor.
You see, Dele, there was one statement you made which I wanted to draw you back to. If you have two political parties and you don't have anywhere to go, you know what they will do? They will sit back in that party, grumble, and make sure that party fails. And they said, she'll be a talker. That is our own way, the black heart we have. Other people will say, well, party discipline, we must follow. We are a peculiar people. And until you are very strict with us, even if this idea of two political parties, you said, well, we were because we had nowhere to go, that wasn't the reason why Abiola had the Pan-Am Nigerian mandate. It was because he was simply good, simple. It wasn't because if he had gone to...
So sorry for that. The truth then, people like Ngibe, if he had option, will have left SDP. I'm sure if it's now for another party, because he appeared to be believed he was very popular at that time, so he would have probably left for another political party. People like Tommy Kimi, who lost out in others and others, will have also find a way out to another political party.
Yeah, but they still stayed back and grumbled and even sold out the mandate.
There was no option.
They sold out their mandate, like King Gibe. Before we knew what has happened, after 2 hours, he had turned to another thing entirely, started taking political appointments here and there. But it's still part of that political maturity. And I still say, when did we even start election? 1960 for 54. If you compare it takes time. And I said, let us give ourselves some time. We will congregate along those lines. As Chief Awolowo said, the good and the bad will congregate. The good of the good, the bad of the good of the bad will congregate and form this. But it takes time. It's not like a computer game you put punching. No, it will take time, and before we can get to that level, which we are supposed to before we start practicing democracy. In fact, that's the reason why some people say we are not even ripe for democracy yet. Some other world leaders say we are still too
Are we really
primitive.
ripe for democracy?
Well, Dele, that is a big question, and I will answer you with all sincerity. No, I don't believe we are for this type of this complex type of thinking. We are not. I thought we were, but the recent events have shown that no, I don't think so. But we have no alternative to go follow it. We need a benevolent dictator that can put us right and then perhaps cultivate us until we can now start having. That is why in China, China knows who they are. They are not attempting to do Western style democracy. They are not trying it at all because they know who they are. And even in so-called Russia, you can see what is going on in Russia now. Russia is because it's a big country. It could have been like Nigeria. Either today is Putin, Medvedev, after that one you swing back, change the constitution. This one. It's the same thing we would have. It's the same thing. It's only because it's Russia, nobody reads so much meaning to it. It's the same thing will happen in Nigeria. Because they are not. You see, democracy too has, you must have the culture for it. It's not just an idea of I vote for APC, the culture for doing things. Because at times it can be very slow, at times it can be very difficult, at times it can be very annoying. Because it's not only democracy alone, democracy and the rule of law. That's the aspect we have missed daily. And the rule of law, we must follow law in whatever you do. And let me give you an example of what I mean by that. For example, you have no right to call someone a thief. You can only be called a thief or a rogue by a court of competent jurisdiction. But you are so flippant, anybody which would, oh, he's a thief, Oleni, and all that. You are not in democratic settings. We are supposed to allow the law court. A car hits your son in the street, you are not supposed to burn the car. You are supposed to wait. No matter how happy your son, that's your only son, your only daughter, and hit by a car is dead, you are not supposed to take the laws into your hand. Let the code of law of competent jurisdiction take action. Those are the things which we forget about when we discuss politics.
Okay, Dr. Nkom, let's quickly enumerate the achievements so far of practicing a multi-party system that would knock out the two-party system. And let's also look at the implications of practicing a two-party system, apart from imposing a political party on an electorate.
Well, if you have two parties, as I said, you are going to congregate into some religious issues, ethnic issues, and what have you. Maybe party for the rich and party for the poor. It's so easy to fall into that type of division if you don't take time. In a multi-party system, you have a choice. In a two-party system, as far as I'm concerned, you have no choice. If you don't get A, I don't like A, but what can I do? But if you are in a multi-party system, you are free to roam around the terrace depending on the law of the land. That is number one. Number two is that you're going to have breaking of friendships and people are moving together and all that, and then you are free to say, I don't like what is going on in this party. I don't like the party being hijacked by money bags. I'm going to go to another one where I can do something. That is also very important, and that is why you can see even in Nigeria with the multi-party system, some regions in this country are progressing more than others. Not because it's because of the type of system, the multi-party system, because the people will call you accountable. There are some areas in this country you are not accountable because of the type of political party they run. In the West, you have that culture of asking questions. Ayodo was there, he did this is the shining light, are you following? A situation where you use all your money to go and buy a statue, to build a statue for an unknown god, and then you leave the god you know, you leave God build it, and then you call it. These are all symptoms of having a political system which is not stable, because nobody's asking questions. When you have all those tiny, for example, if you have a two-party system, you cannot ask questions. You are not likely to ask questions. It's more like just like having a one-party system. But if you have so many, you cannot ask questions. Of course, they have to be within the limits of the law. That's how I look at it there.
As good as your position or defense for a multi-party may be, but let's look at the facts on ground in this country. So far, there are several political parties, over 50 of them. But when there's a general election, what we see so far is all these political parties coming together to become one and pledge allegiance to one of the two main political parties. Every election in this country is won by two main political parties. The distance between the two and the others, like they say, is between them and they. You cannot describe it. Is this not a pointer that these so-called political parties should just be matched with any of this one? Because that's what they do when election comes.
It's inconceivable, Dele, for the Republican, just using that because we all know, to say we consider we don't worry, we won't have our own candidate. We give it to the Democrats. Let them what, like what you have just described, like what happened in the last election. Those people are not supposed to be allowed and called political parties. This is what they're going to.
It's not just last election. Every
If I told you, yes, or most of our elections, yes, you see people saying we now how do this what they use. We now vote for my vote for A and B. We will not exactly. You are not a political party then. You are not a political party then. In fact, as in the Ken Namani resolution, is that you should not cross carpet. If you have to cross carpet, you have to go back to the electorate. And I think that if such a thing comes into fruition, then you reduce this incidence of people saying, well, we don't have candidate, people vote for this one as if it means anything, or because they want to collect money. Like what happened in Labour Party in or your state, and what happened with the Falayers and all that. When they collected money from PDP and all that, they are not. It's not. I'm not saying anything new. It's what we all know.
Yes.
They did that because of the monetary inducement. What they will gain, not for their party, for themselves. They sold their parties out. I'm not sure that if there was a referendum in those parties, they would have allowed that to happen. But this is the issue. This is the point. Party formation, ideologies, and what have you. Daily, this is what we are discussing.
One thing to also look at is the cost of running these political parties, which in event translates to the cost of running an election in a multi-party system that we see the facts on ground in Nigeria. Would a two-party system not eliminate or reduce this, and then even make thuggery reduced and friction?
The issue of thuggery has nothing to do with political parties. Even the same party, two candidates emerging in primaries, they fight themselves. It happened in Ondo State. It happened in Ekiti State. The same political party, they have two people, candidates fighting. This one mobilizes the stock. So the issue of thuggery is an issue with the leadership of the party. And so I won't call that one. But if you talk of money, spending of money, this is where we go. Where do you spend the bulk of this money? Is to hide it inside bread during election and give it to people to eat bread and naira notes. If you don't do that, if you vote for Dele because of who Dele is, not because of how much money will get to you, we have not told the electorate that, look at what I have done, vote for me for that. If you don't want to vote for me, so be it. Dele, that's the thing. This is my anticipation.
But Dr. Okon, the truth is, this is not who we are. Who we are is what you just said. I have to be induced. And can we run away from that fact?
Yeah, it can be. But it will take some time. We were not like that before. Nobody induced anybody to vote for Abiola. But we saw what he has done. We could look back. Every nook and cranny of this country benefited somehow from the legacy of Abiola. So it's Abiola, this one is a good man. But now, what we are doing is that vote for me because I want to occupy that position. Not that I want to do anything for you. The political parties themselves must learn to say, look, you vote for us, if not, forget it. That is it. When you are buying votes. Sorry, it looks hypothetical and theoretical.
Electoral umpire IDEC has also said the cost of running an election can also be reduced if we don't have this high number of political, because one, they have to monitor the party primaries, print ballot boxes. Even the government agency like anyway have to call political parties one by one, for meetings, etc., which all cost money. So, do we not find a way of
That is
reducing?
not where the bulk of the money goes.
But some of the
Yes,
money goes
for
there.
example, if you want to have, as I understand, a governorship candidate runs into billions, you pay the party. That is, I'm in the party A and I want to be a governorship candidate. Some people tell you must have 3 billion. Dele, which one is that one for? That is what you build into the cost. Before you become presidential candidate goes into some couple of billions. What is that one for? Even for you to be nominated by your political party.
But this the logistics involved and all this in ballot paper, election material, and all this, because we have to make provisions for every political party registered.
That will not cost so much money. I would rather say that will always make an economy boom. If you can print ballot, if you are true and sincere enough. Can you imagine printing ballot papers in this Nigeria? What will happen to the printing press and all that? The government printing press. I'm assuming. So that is it. We now go and print these ballot papers in South Africa, in England, or Switzerland. That adds to the cost of it because we are not sincere. People who are not supposed to do the job are not doing the job, and we add it to the cost of election. I don't think it's as some people have snap election. How do they do it, Dele? Japan has had 3 snap election, or 2 or 3 now.
Yes, 3.
3 now this year, or this
in the last 2 years.
2 years.
Yes.
How do they get? Are they not using the same voters card we are doing? How come they do it and it's not derailing the economy? How come our own 1 in 4 years is a big deal? There must be something wrong with it. Not in the election itself, but in us.
In your own view, the 1993 elections,
yes,
and other elections after it, not before it, what made the huge difference?
Dele, you are taking me back to memories. As far as I'm concerned, after that Abiola election, no more election. We had no more elections in this country. Because I was there, I watched it as as a medical, as a resident in Ibadan, and I saw what happened. How people came out, they didn't need to induce anybody. People came out, we wanted Abiola, and they did it. After that one, and it was truncated. As far as I'm concerned, what we are having is an attempt to get back to that gold standard. It was because Nigerians, it's the same Nigeria, it's same us now, not Israelis who voted. How come we got it right then? And then
that's the question. What that difference? How did we get it? That till today we've not been able to reenact that June 12, 1993 mode.
Dele, it was because that election was cancelled. We are evolving up to that point. We were getting it right. And then suddenly, someone, evil spirit, evil forces came in and destroyed that. And we became wiser. Just like eating the forbidden fruits in the Garden of Eden, like Christians will know. We became wiser. And we started seeing what we shouldn't see. We now started knowing, when you say Dele, the first thing is, where is he from? Nkom. Nobody asks what is in his head or not. It's where is he from. We start, those things were introduced into our body politics, into our DNA by that. And we did not come out to condemn it in its this thing. We're so busy because some of us enjoyed from it. Some of us jumped this thing, and we were happy after collecting money. That's what happened, Dele. If we had come out to say, no, yes, if the party which lost said, no, you can't do this, Dele, we wouldn't be where we are. So that we mean that even if you are enemy, when you see your enemy being maltreated, stand out and say no.
Dr. Nkom, before we take the break for the National News at 10, do you believe in INEC?
As constituted?
Yeah.
I believe you me, I believe in INEC. I believe in INEC. And let me explain it. The problem is not INEC. The problem is me and you. The problem is me standing in the line, the queues, to collect bread with data no stop inside it. Is that INEC? No. INEC will not do that. It is me, the people who now go to falsify figures in collation centers. That's not INEC. The people who go and give money to induce people. That is not INEC. Of course, you might tell me that INEC should have mechanism to take care of that. But if I decide that if you give me 50 naira, I won't vote for you. Don't give it to me. You know what? You see, people think it's a tall order. No. That is what happens in other democracies. That is why a Republican is a Republican. That is why, even despite the fact that what do you call it, Donald Trump is doing what he's doing, some of them are still behind him because it's an ideological thing. But here, we change carpet. You lose a primary, you run away and say you go with the supporters. And then you wake up in the morning and say, oh, my people say I should come and contest when they have nothing. You cannot even run your family. Those are the issues.
We will need to take this break for the national news at 10, but before we go, start sending those messages, those questions, your contributions via the short code dial 32120. First you type rock, then you leave a space, type your message, include your name, and forward it to 32120. And for the Twitter handle, tweet at Rock City FM, and our Facebook fan page, Rock City 101.9 FM. We'll be back on Citizens Forum on the other side of 10. Don't touch that dial.
Yes, it's the Daybreak Show on Rock City 101.9 FM, the voice of the people broadcasting from the radio house at Shiro, Bekuta Citizens Forum. We're back for the second and final half of the show. This time, quickly, it will be you and us. Let's have you ask your questions, comments, opinion for our guest, Dr. Ebenezer Nkom. We have been looking at the recommendation of the Ken Nnamani Political Reform Committee asking Nigeria to go the way of a two-party democracy. Let's stop all these, like our guests are saying, swine party, parties. All right.
The studio lines remain 0809-868-7344 or 0909-146-9670. For the short code dial 32120 it is. First you type rock, then you leave a space, type your message, include your name, and forward it to 32120. The Twitter handle, tweet at Rock City FM. And for the Facebook fan page, Rock City 101.9 FM. Remember, let there be decorum. It's just 2 minutes allotted to each caller on this very platform, and let's not stay long on the line so that we can accommodate as many calls as possible.
All right, do we have the first call? Yes, you are on. Good morning.
Good morning, Dele.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Nkom.
Good morning, sir.
Dr. Nkom, thank you very much for all what you said.
Can we have your name?
Emmanuel from now.
Emmanuel.
Yeah. Dr. Nkom, please, you have my state. Me and you are from the same state. Now, we start from this way. Do you see or do you hear the action of a leader of APC? I don't want to mention name, but I believe you are aware of the action of that leader of APC. Dr. Nkom,
That's ambiguous. Which leader, which action?
I think Tinubu refused to say something about.
What has that got to do with the topic, sir? Is it part of the topic we are discussing this morning?
Yeah. What I mean is, Dr. Nkom, it won't work this time. APC arrangement is not favor Nigerians. So
you still do not understand the topic. We are not looking at APC or PDP. We are looking at operating a two political system structure in the country. A recommendation for Ken Nnamani, former Senate President. Let's deregister all other political. Let us have two political parties. That's what we're looking at, Emmanuel. Thank
you. Okay.
Thank you. Hello, good morning. What else that call? 0809-868-7344 or 0909-146-9670. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Chienye.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dele. Good morning, Dr. Nkom.
Good morning, sir.
I'm Kola Uluwabi. I'm calling from back. Yes, let us evolve as you have spoken. Let us evolve rightly. You started well. You cannot take human element into compartmentalization. Nigeria began to show inconvenience with this arrangement. When, despite NPC then, that had large influence in the north, I'm talking of the First Republic, with one north, one destiny matter. Kano, another different ideology, very different from the conservative north, and from Power Party level. He sprang up from the initial stereotype of AGNCS and NPC. The problem of these two parties and last better and other parties very viable then, and it help our democracy. Then in 1999 republic brought us back to the fourth republic of the three tribal parties, which attempt had already been defeated. All these attempts does not make us develop at our own pace. Multi-party is good. Let the light congregate. Ideology is what matters. Let the people be informed politically and not educationally. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. Fine, thank you.
You are sounding low and far from the mic.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you, sir?
Thank you.
My son John, good morning.
Morning, sir.
I'm Taiwan Yawadi
Yes, sir.
from Tapon Town. Yes, Dr. Nkom, you are very correct. I want to ask, why do we have to fund this political party? Why do we have to fund it? It's because we are funding them, funding them. That's why they continue to multiply day by day. We are wasting our resources. We are wasting our money. And what do these political parties, what do they do? What do they do money? Apart from PDP, apart from APC, which of them have got any local government councillor in this country? Let's do away with them. Let us just two political parties or three. Look at what happened during 1993 election. You had NCP, you have NRC. Very good election conducted. Accepted by Dr. Nkom. Very good election. Very credible election. And we voted massively for MKO, Abiola. Although Babangida did it for, he betrayed his friend.
You are approaching 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much. So let's have just 2 or 3 political companies and let's go ahead. Go ahead. Let's Nigeria.
God bless us all. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Ola Anima Shaun is the name calling from Abeokuta. My dear friend, I salute you.
Morning, my brother. Morning.
Ordinarily, for a first-time listener, if anybody is listening to you for the first time, he will think your proficiency is in political science, not knowing that you are a surgeon of rhetoric. I think I want to salute you for your analysis. My area is socio-political philosophy. And in this terrain, you realize that the essence of democracy itself is the opportunity of choice. You cannot afford, no matter how you want to domesticate your democracy, you can't afford to box people into a set of corner, just two angles. You will have eliminated the basic principle of democracy if you do that. Multiple opportunities, choice, capacity to decide to go in a different way makes democracy to thrive. As such, I am on the same page with you, Dr. Nkom, this morning. Yes, people may have different opinions, but if you want people to ventilate, to say this is who and what I want, this is the principle I want to go for, you cannot restrict them to two polar, bipolar, and say it's either you go this way or that way. And for your information, some people might not even be interested in the presidency per se, or may be contented having to do with the local election. But the basic thing is you must restrict the registration to make sure that you stop the grades from the start. You make sure it's those that qualify to the national parties that are registered. And you control the financing. The financing is also a crucial part of it. If you want to fund the parties from the government, so that you have very strong control mechanism in place. If the parties have to fund themselves, make sure you trace the sources of the funding, so that the barons, and others will not hijack the parties. 2 minutes might not be enough I don't want to abuse the time frame. But I am on the same page with you this morning, and I salute your effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alanu Ashao. 08096673444. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I like you to pronounce my name.
Thank you.
On the issue of this multi-party system, we need to have what we need to do to replicate is that let INEC for all local government elections, any party that doesn't have any candidate, councillor, chairman from local government should not from the state and the federal. We all social family income mother party, we give them and we wait for another 3 or 4 years again. If we want to see the person, we want to touch, they naturally they will do that. I think that's the only thing. And again, not in the house, we have entered the secondary party today. There must be a reason. If we want to lead party, because they are the ones destroying the party. If we want to lead the party, because the party cannot, you will retire from that house of assembly or and then come and join the party. Not the party will lead back the candidate for their purpose. They do another election. If you continue to do that, you will all these politicians, the party actually do everything like that. But if you continue to say we register them, and they gather the date. Let them conduct for local government sector. They have a camera and councillor, they can conduct it. And so, and any one of them wants to change party election. Let you decide and come back join his own party. But the agenda can change. So that's my own contribution.
All right, we'll move away from the telephones. We'll come to our guest, Dr. Nkom. Dr. Nkom, before you respond to all of them, let me just use 2 of the callers' submission to ask the question. The last caller, Alhaji Mutugnu and Taiwo Ayobode. I'm not sure if, I'm not too sure if INEC still pays or still give money to these political parties. I'm not sure. Well, thank God we have one of our own as resident electoral commissioner. I'll ask him or find out from him if they are still paying for this thing to keep them alive. But whether they do or not, from what Alhaji Omitogun, the last caller, and Taiwo Ayobode said, stop giving them money, study to let them feel that if they cannot win an election. So if you allow this, what people will say, allowing water to find its level or let the natural law take its course. At the end of the day in Nigeria, don't you think we will end up with this 2-party thing?
Yeah, thank you very much. Alhaji Mitogun, maybe let me answer the 2 questions. You said that let people start with local government. If you don't win any seat, then you should not go further. That's the type of thing we do in postgraduate studies called OSCE in medicine. No, in politics it's different. I may not want to vote for anybody, local government chairman or a councillor, but if that person becomes a governorship candidate, I'll vote for that person. So in politics, it doesn't flow that way. So that should not be. If you are doing that, you are still going back to too much regulation, regulating people, intelligence, people's brains, people ability. Let us think loud. No, that will not work. I will not support that because I might not want to vote for a local government chairman, but I would like to vote for someone in that political party as a senator or as whatever. For Engineer Abdullahi, thank you very much, sir. Well, the 2-party system, as I said, it stifles what do you call it, innovations and what have you. It will have to be a multi-party system. Anyway, there is a Supreme Court ruling. So what we are just doing is academic. A Supreme Court ruling that you cannot regulate. You cannot say, oh, you must have 2 parties. What you have to do is that you have to bring in stringent conditionalities so that at the end of the day, people cross the hurdle, not decreeing that there are 2 parties, because even that one becomes also artificial. My friend Oladimasho, thank you very much for your encomium. I really enjoyed it here in the studio. And thank you very much. And we are saying we are in the same page. For Taiwo Yemode, thank you very much, sir. For Kola Oluwabi, yeah, multi-party system. Thank you very much. We are on the same page. and that multi-party system now, it is only that we make it look so expensive. I give you an example. People say the type of democracy we run now, people prefer to run the parliamentary system, or you don't want the other system. American is very expensive. And my question is that, is there anything in the American system which says that, for example, a governor must go with in a convoy of cars, 20 cars? Why can't you go with 3 cars? So we are the people. Is there anything in that presidential system which says that we must have 500 special assistants? Those are creation. That is not part of the presidential system of government. It is we who decide to glamorize it that way. It has nothing. That is not presidential system of government. You can make it as cheap, just like wedding. You can make a wedding as expensive, and you can make it as austere, and it'll still be wedding. So that is our choice. We have decided to do that. So what? Why should we have all political appointments with driving jeep, Lexus jeeps, 450 liters and all that? Why? Is that part of presidential democracy? It's not. Why must you have 500, or let me not, I'm exaggerating here. Why must you have 20 commissioners, 30 commissioners? Why? Is that part of no? The answer is no. That's what you have decided to do with it. You have decided to abuse it. You can decide to have 10 commissioners. You can decide to have 5 commissioners, and we'll still go developing the same way. That's the way I look at it, Dele.
Messages, please.
Yes, we have a couple of messages and tweets here. INEC no longer gives money to political parties. Parties are expected to raise funds through members' financial subscription and then the sale of souvenirs and fundraising activities. The tragedy of that filthy moneybags float and fund parties and corrupts the entire electoral process. As Fela sang, our political leaders are nothing. Okay, too bad and sad. Bolahon from Calabar sent in that message. Then we move to the next one by Adewale. Cross-carpeting in Nigeria is a problem against our political growth. Is it possible to criminalize it? The multi-party is good, but we have too much parties. That's by Adewale. Then having multiple party system, don't you think it's what is affecting us now here in Nigeria, where we have politicians who are cross-carpeting to seek for political shield if they are found guilty of one thing or the other? Pius from Shaje sent in that message. Abdurrashid Okenla from Abeokuta, listen carefully to the submission of the guest in the studio. Doctor, you have spoken very well. Thank God you are not a Yoruba man. More so, you are a professional, not a politician. If not, our people will have twisted all you have said. That's why when we speak the bitter truth like you did, people think we're politicians. Keep it up, sir. It's not for them to agree now, but we'll later realize the truth. God bless Nigeria, myself, and Rock City FM. As Fela rightly sang, Nigeria is nothing but BBC. It's a big blind country. Until the people open their eyes very wide and focus, they will continue to wallow in poverty, ignorance. The leadership is politically blind, while the followership is both politically and economically blind. What a tragedy. Too sad, too bad. What a blind nation indeed. Well, I have sent in that message. Good morning to all Nigerians. I observed that the two-party system a few years back, the NRC and SDP, was a sense out of nonsense of our leaders then. And if Nigerians have respect for our law, the fear of God, and also have it in mind that they are coming there to serve, there won't be any break of law and order, which normally occurs in the political parties and during elections. Ayodo from Ward 4, Abeokuta North, sent in that message. And then two parties are okay. God bless Nigeria. Ola from Obantogo is suggesting the two-party system. Switching over to the tweets, Egunjobe Ganiu, our democracy will remain ineffective and uncompetitive until we have two political parties and put a stop to cross-carpeting. Oluwaseyi Emmanuel, with due respect to democracy, I don't think it can solve our problems in Nigeria because it's a way of life itself that's talking about democracy. It should be noted that Nigeria is not democratic in nature, and as such, democracy can't take us far as we expected. Only some level of benevolence dictators Our tradition is fashioned towards such ways, with much development in the society. And more tweets from Oluwaseyi Manuel. Electorates know the right candidate to vote for, but for the conspiracy of the elite to exploit the citizens. So, inducement is the order of the day. Political idea to control the consciousness of the electorate. Those were tweets by Oluwaseyi Manuel. Then we have this from Toyin. Elites will kill the Nigerian project. When PDP was there, they said we were not mature for democracy. And now that APC is failing, we're not matured again. Let's say the truth or take responsibility. We move to the next one by Taiwo Tolulope. The liberalization of party politics should be sustained in Nigeria. Having more political parties will give room for more options. Yemi Da Vinci. I agree with some submissions of Dr. Nkom and disagree with some of them. I agree that Nigeria doesn't need a two-party system as it contravenes the freedom of association, which is a core part of democracy. Even UK, US, Germany, and other European countries have more than one political party. The more, the merrier. It doesn't matter if we have 100 parties. So far, the politicians are patriotic nationalists, like Mr. Bido said yesterday. And the two-party system contributed to the failure of the 1999 transition, which angered the SDP members who couldn't decamp and betrayed MKO Abiola. Those were tweets by Yemi Da Vinci. Then we have this from Professor Agbola AAA. I disagree absolutely with Nnamani and Dr. Nkom. I must not become scripted to only two choices of political parties. That's anti-democracy. Well, Dr. Nkom is not voting for
That's
two-party
that's
system.
exactly what he has said. That we
Yeah,
should not
he
be
said, yeah, we can't be
conscripted into
conscripted.
two. He opposes
He opposed the
two-party
two-party
system.
system.
Dr. Nkom's position.
Still from Professor Agbola AAA, people calling for the two-party states they're not for Nigerians. Ghani has fought for the opening of the political space, and so nobody can shut it. Yemi Da Vinci tweeted, the multi-party system of France is what made it possible for Emmanuel Macron to be president of France now. However, I disagree with Dr. Nkom on issues of all our traditional systems that are not being democratic enough, democracy for Nigeria. Those are the tweets for now.
Okay, you want to react to
Yes,
some of those
thank you
comments?
very much. I'm sorry. Some people perhaps they don't listen to me earlier, and I'm opposed to the two-party system. Professor AAA, no, I don't believe in the two-party system. I've said it and said it, and I even went further to say that I believe in the benevolent dictators, that we are not evolved yet to get to that level. Toyin, yes, you said, I've always maintained that's my view. It's not today. That is what I believe in, and that's what I'm saying. And Oluwaseyi and the other ones, thank you very much. Cross-carpeting. Let me see that issue of cross-carpeting. And we are looking at politics as a one-way system. You elect someone and becomes a senator, or becomes a member of the House of Rep, and that's the end of the story. You have the power of recall. You can recall a senator, but people don't want to exercise that right. You see, those are the components that what makes democracy robust. It's not just because you have been made a senator that you can go and do anything. If we elect you on the platform of a political party and you go and decamp there, we wait for you. We can recall you. How many have we tried? Look at what happened in Kogi State. It's working, whether we like it or not. When people get to know that you cannot just do that, then people will sit there in one place or come back and consult us before taking such moves. So if you talk of cross-carpeting, it is we, the electorate, who are allowing cross-carpeting to mature, to flourish. The day we say enough is enough, nobody will cross-carpet. So let it be a two-way system. Call our people to order. Sorry, sir, if you decamp, don't come back to us. You are sure you are going to lose the election. They will stop it. Don't just leave it. You see, politics is so important. They don't only leave it to politicians alone. You should not leave it to politicians alone, because all our life, everything about us, the what we eat, our education, our lifestyle depends on politics. So we must practice it as it's supposed to be done. There must be check and balances. Why we don't have we don't have the we don't allow checks or where we don't exercise check and balances is where we have cross-carpeting. Please tell our people next time we will recall you. Do you know what? They will stop cross-carpeting.
So yeah, we'll go back and
Okay, we have more comments on the
Okay.
Facebook and messages and tweets. For the comments on our Facebook fan page, a corrupt nation shouldn't practice the two-party system because it will be counterproductive. And then for the shortcut dial, the two-party system is the best. The multiple system has been reigned since 1999, and it's in paper. In reality, it is two parties till date, and that's just the reality. It has been between PDP, AC, and ACN, which is now APC. No impacts, no feelings of all other parties by allowing these figureheads to continue in wasting of the country's resources, energy, and time through INEC. And by so doing, the workload on INEC conducting elections will be reduced and make them perform better. That's a suggestion by Ade if we adopt the two-party system. Moving away from that and taking this one from Ike from E4. Dr. Nkom, I disagree with you for saying that INEC is not the problem. Then who is the problem? You and I know INEC is one of the problems we are facing during elections. For example, on the 29th of May this year, Abiola Ajimobi of Oyo State said that he will name who will succeed him in office by next year. Quote me anywhere. Anybody whom he appoints will win that very election, whether the people like it or not. So what is your take on that statement?
how does INEC
INEC, what is INEC is not Ajimobi now.
And how did they come?
How did they come?
They didn't write the statement for him.
No.
Okay.
So I don't think.
Let's have the shortcut, please. Okay.
A two-party system is not feasible in Nigeria. Lindamani's proposition is self-serving and undemocratic. In fact, it will further widen the north and south dichotomy, and if not properly managed, it will increase the temper of religious segregation. Let the mushroom parties coexist with the bigger ones, and they will fizzle out naturally. That's better. Fola Akinyemi suggested that. Then the fact that you are in a multiple party system does not mean two strong parties could still not emerge. That is the difference between men and boys. Olani Marshall sent in that message. Mushrooming of political parties is the major cause of the lack of ideological focus. The fewer, that is, the maximum, the better. Okay, having a maximum of 5 is better. Professor Sam Otubusi sent in that message. Thank you, Dr. Nkom and others in the House for this very topic. In my own opinion, let's have the maximum of 5 and minimum of 3 political parties in this country. God bless Nigeria. From Aralamo Unikoko Adigbe sent in that message. And for the tweets via the Twitter handle, Yemi Da Vinci tweeted, some of our traditional institutions admitted they are not democratic enough, but many of them were. Isaac Oloyede, the two-party isn't good. Let it be 4 parties at least. We can be able to choose one out of the 4 according to the manifesto. I also disagree that Nigeria needs a benevolent dictator and not democracy. I have several reasons for saying this. Olusoji Oladeide, good morning. Good morning to you too. Two-party system isn't a good attempt. Rather, the parties should make their policies firm. Anyone cross-carpeting should be screened thoroughly. Tony tweeted again, we're not evolving when PDP was there. Now that APC is failing, we're now evolving. The elites should please accept responsibility and say the truth. We go back to the calls.
Before the calls, quickly, Dr. Nkom. Okay, somebody is suggesting if we can't take 2, can we expand it to 4 or 5?
No, the Supreme Court judgment is very clear. You cannot put a number.
Now, apart from this Supreme Court, because Kenny Namandi's position means that we'll go back to the Constitution.
Yes.
Rewrite it and put it in the Constitution.
Yes.
That takes out the judgment of the Supreme Court.
I don't believe in that. I don't think we should have put a number on it. As many people who can cross that hurdle, that is it. When you start, you are still stifling by saying 3 or 5. What happens if you have 10 political parties who are very good and they represent different shades of activities and opinions? So it shouldn't be. We should not put a number on it.
Okay. So your position is no number.
No number.
At all.
No number.
All right. Telephone lines.
0809-868-7344 or 0909-146-9670. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning. Dele and my sister. Dele. I'm tired of calling from my doctor.
Thank you.
Yes, I've had you, doctor. I've had so many people that have contributed this morning. This multi-party system serves as signs of progress for all of us. And I will not believe that money proposal or whatever will take it away from this system we are enjoying currently now. And I'm able to say that it is the lack of moral and ethical qualifications in our leaders or leadership that we have that have been undoing us. You know, in 1993, we have qualified leaders, with the exception that somebody did not possess certificate then, but another person possessed that brain and wisdom and understanding and what have you, and we lined up and left Obantoku for Ibarra here to vote on the rain and then other weather conditions. Look,
Hello.
hello.
Well,
Most of the leaders that we have now, they are not ready to own up to responsibility, and that is the reason why we want to judge under the condition of let's see what we can do with two parties or whatever. You see, in marriage, yes, marriage. Let me put it this way.
Lost
All
that
right,
call.
thank you, Kayode.
You may send the remaining views via the short code dial. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
This is Ayodo from Ayodo.
Thank you.
I've heard a lot of advocates, for multi-party and two-party system. But I'm a little bit concerned, Doctor, because we have an electorate that is highly uneducated. I'm not saying highly illiterate, highly uneducated. And we have a situation whereby people don't even know their rights in the country. A lot of people follow, a particular pattern based on whoever is calling the shots in their locality. That is what we have as it stands. Very few who are probably exposed and educated, who are not in the majority. So are we saying that if we have a multi-party system, such people can be well guided? In
All right, thank you.
in left philosophy, I believe it's either to the right or to the left, which I think is what we need with our level of development.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. That's the last for the phone. Messages, please.
The comment on our Facebook fan page. This is from Adewale Shobowale. The more the merrier, straight jacketing, and the people will be unconstitutional. It will be an infringement of the right to belong to any association. However, the government should not fund any of the political parties. Parties should be self-funding. We study comparative politics so that we could learn from other places. I'm afraid Nigeria has only learned the bad things. That's from Adewale. Then for the messages on our shortcut dial. Doctor, I agree with you that we're not matured for democracy due to disobedience of the rule of law. And if you can agree with me, the present government does not believe in the rule of law at all. Taiwo Okpeifa sent in that message. And for the tweets, we have two tweets from Yemi Da Vinci. Dr. Nkom, you said Nigerian democracy needs to evolve, yet you advocate for a benevolent dictator. Pekin. An Alafi can be deposed and Oyo Mesi member can also be removed, and that's how it works across the Yoruba land, our homegrown democracy. Those were tweets from Yemi.
All right, Dr.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Do you agree that we have a high number of uneducated? And it says it's not talking about
that
literacy.
is the mistake we make. That because someone cannot speak English, is not educated, cannot vote. No, you can't. They can see. We make that mistake of saying people are not educated or not. They vote. They know what they are voting for. It might not make sense to you, but our people are well educated. They know who they are voting for. To start with, anyway, if you don't know what you are voting for, you have no business going near the ballot paper. That is the number one. But I know that our people, yes, if you look at the number of people coming out to vote, that is an indication. Whoever you vote for is a different kettle of fish entirely.
And the reason for voting,
is a different call, but they know that's why they come out to vote. And then also, Kayode, my friend, you're talking of leadership. I wonder what you call leadership. Who are these leaders? I've always said it. You hear people saying Yoruba leaders, Igbo leaders. Who made them leaders? It is when you start calling them leaders, they believe they are leaders. Don't call them leaders. They are not our leaders. We didn't elect them. We didn't. So why do you call them leaders? They are not our leaders. And we should not pretend to call them leaders. And maybe I should stop at that level. And also Nuruddin too said we have the ballot paper is not long enough. I don't know if you have seen balance sheet in the banks. If you can have balance sheets in the bank, there's no reason why. If you look at other countries, look at Germany, the German election, I saw they are voting this thing. It was quite a big paper. Why can't we make our one as big as that? We can't do that one. So I don't think that is the issue. I still believe, let me clarify myself here. If we are going to, I don't think that democracy as the Western democracy will solve our problem as we are now in this country. But if we have to multi-party system, I believe that a benevolent dictator. Look, what do we want?
What does, maybe that's the issue.
Maybe that's the issue. Yes.
That,
yes. Let me tell you, a dictator comes in and says that this is a one-way road and everybody takes one way. If you cross the path, you are in trouble. Two,
I don't have to take you to court.
I don't have to take you to court. Two, if we have to destroy something here, we go down there and destroy it in the interest of the people. Number three, people must go to school. For example, we say petrol must sell at this price, and then it sells it at that price. What do I want? What am I interested in? I'm not interested in APC, PDP. I want to live a good life. And if a dictator can give me that one, which I believe it happened. Look at what happened in Libya. Libya was a benevolent dictator. Look at what they are suffering now in so-called multi-party democracy. Look at what's happening in Libya. That is a classical example of they could have allowed that man to be there, and there was no joblessness. Everything was free. Education, healthcare was free. There was no unemployment. Look at what they are eating. They are eating from dustbin. Is that what we are looking for? It was a benevolent dictator. That is what I'm talking about. Time is against us. I can speak more, but let me leave it at that level. Thank you.
All right, do that. Just had any message there, any, and then
we have 4 here. We have this one from Omori from Obantoko. Dr. Nkom, well done on this. Well spoken. Let us have political debates among students of higher institutions. Very soon they will hear us. In technological age, electronic voting is essential for realistic elections, just as truly independent, transparent, and virile electoral system. The party's organization and discipline is key for democracy, which begins with people's constitution. Cosmos sent in that message. If we're not deceiving ourselves, so if we can't practice the two-party system, then at least we can have 5 parties. That should be okay. What is the essence of having over 30 political parties and just only 2 parties are functioning? You didn't include your name. And then we have the last one. Government no longer funds political parties. Thank you. That was sent in by Bolahan. Those are the messages and tweets.
All right, and thank you, Bolahan, too, for assisting us in clarifying that. We appreciate everybody who's been a part of it, and on behalf of the entire crew, I say thank you to our guest, Dr. Ebenezer Nkom, for turning away from being the knife holder. Okay, I think he also used the knife well, the surgical knife, to dissect the political topic this morning. So we say thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
And of course, to every other person who just listened and enjoyed it. Dele, Ayodo is my name. I say God bless you all. God bless Nigeria, and God bless Rock City.